Up right there, criminal scum. Yes, that's right, I'm talking to you, Zazel. You are criminal scum, no doubt, and Eltharian's here to try and put you in jail. This replay submitted by Kaiju, who is taking the forces of Slaanesh, beautiful as they are. Got Azazel leading the way, Princes of Perfection, as well as more Marauder Spears devoted to Slaanesh. We've got some Seekers here as well, Fiends, so plenty of mobile killing power with some Marauder Horsemen out on the far side. We've also got a few Furies up in the sky scattered around this Elven defensive formation. You can see that the High Elves not even trying to contest mobility against Slaanesh, instead going with the all-infantry kind of army here. The Frostheart Phoenix pretending to be infantry is probably my favorite part of this so far. He's just like, yes, I am also on legs. We've got Eltharian, yeah, pretty good choice on foot. Doesn't actually have anti-large, even though he carries a spear. Not AP damage either, but it just insane melee stats. He also has this Mistwalker's Barrage, which should be able to do some AoE damage to Slaanesh units surrounding him. Front line of Phoenix Guard, including the Keepers of the Flame. And Laura Beast Caster, looking to just deal damage only with Flock of Doom. Anyway. Yeah, Eltharian, of course, himself does have some magic, looking like Apotheosis and Tempest. The Tempest going to slow Azazel on the approach and allow these Elven units to get in somewhat unharmed. The Archers also just jumping into melee here, which is amazing. But Eltharian and his pet Phoenix here going to jump in against the Princes of Perfection and start to kind of DPS them down. The Furies fly in and are going to run some little hammer and anvils. But yeah, you see that little Mistwalker Barrage there does some pretty solid damage. So it's basically, it happens an infinite number of times as long as Eltharian stays in melee. So yeah, every 30 seconds, as long as he's in melee, another barrage will come down. And that is just fantastic. You see that Flock of Doom there as well. Kaiju, though, moving in, his overlapping hammers and anvils and hammering anvils into hammers. Yeah, High Elves are definitely taking some pretty serious losses at this point. You can see if I bring the health bars up, the Spearmen and Archers just disappearing into pink mist. Elven souls being taken for Slaanesh, no doubt. But yeah, Azazel himself kind of gets pummeled here a little bit. Eltharian with his Fang Sword active, going to go up a significant amount of weapon strength. Despite those debuffs, he is, yeah, did just fine there in the combat. I mean, Azazel not having armor basically means that the lack of AP matters none here. And Eltharian's just a better combatant. Azazel does have slightly more melee attack, especially with that martial prowess active, or I guess Grim Resolve, right, is his version of it. Grim Discipline. It's just on, right? So he just has better stats. Anyway, yeah, he also has the Tempest to continue to try and slow and control movements. Frostheart Phoenix pumps up in the air, try and follow up with a lot of the Furies and other units having been dealt with. Furies, of course, and mostly a fire and forget type unit. Well, I guess there's still a few of them hanging around, but not really contesting in the sky, helping Azazel too much right now. Eltharian also getting another barrage from those Mistwalkers somewhere. Who knows where. But the Elven Archers also in the back have done a reasonably decent job. No, there's no Archers. They're all gone. That's right, they walked into melee. Yeah, just the Phoenix Guard just kind of defending for now. They've eaten some Javelins. They've definitely eaten some charges from some of the higher damage units. But you can see, likewise, Slaanesh paying a pretty hefty price for these engagements. Both the Fiends down significantly on HP. This unit of Seekers here is doing okay. Azazel actually is the one that has to hard land now and is going to use some debuffs in order for the Frostheart Phoenix to get caught all alone by all these nasty Slaanesh mobile units. It's going to be a very bad situation, but Tempest works even when a unit is hard landed, I guess. I didn't realize that. So just cast Tempest on this Azazel to slow him down and deal some damage to him. As Eltharian also pretty slow on foot. Probably not going to have enough speed to go save his Frostheart Phoenix, but let's see. The Beastcaster also is alive. Could run over there maybe and throw a little Flock of Doom to try and get at least the Seekers off. Would probably be quite beneficial. Oop, as I smacked my mic stand. Sorry about that. Anyway. Yeah, Slaanesh units are running out of steam in many ways. I mean, the Marauder Anvil has definitely been well and truly broken at this point, but a handful more mobile units remain kind of running around here. Keepers of the Flame, of course, exploding in melee means whatever does kill them up close is going to pay a hefty price for it, but Javelin's just trying to do whatever they can to explode those unit models at a distance. Slaanesh Javelins, of course, having a magic damage component will bypass the physical resistance of the Phoenix Guard, and pretty solid AP values, of course, on Javelins. Definitely get some good damage in. Yeah, 7 AP per shot, high damage overall on each hit. And more of those Phoenix Guard keep exploding. Zazel's going to get back, but yeah, no hope for the Phoenix, unfortunately. No help came to save the poor bird, and it is slowly getting ground down here. I mean, granted, melee defense is pretty solid, so it did last for quite some time, which does allow the High Elves an opportunity to kind of reorganize their forces here, give everything back together. Yeah, Keepers of the Flame there. At least eating the rest of the Javelins, most likely. Yeah, it doesn't look like the Slaanesh Marauder Horsemen will have much after this. There are some Silver and Guard, actually, not just Spearmen. Okay, actual Silver and Guard. Very interesting. One unit in particular still being very healthy is very beneficial. So let's fast forward somewhat through this reorganization phase. We'll get some very kind of minor melee engagements underway. But yeah, you can see again, Hammer and Anvil just trying to catch out isolated, weakened units wherever they can. Little Flock of Doom there. Overcast does detonate the Beastmate for a significant amount of damage. You see the Pavane being used in response, also going to do some damage, and Rampage those Phoenix Guard into the wrong target. They probably wanted to land in this engagement right here. But nonetheless, Beast Mage and Eltharion just kind of staying with that unit of Phoenix Guard for now. Or those units, I should say. And trying not to get themselves caught out of position here. Very important to keep Eltharion saturated with his own troops. But yeah, Slaanesh does manage to pick off a couple of the isolated kind of flank units there. Again, just collapse everything. Again, here, there is a Flock of Doom available. These late game blobs are the best time probably to try and break multiple units with a single one. Like a lot of these weakened like Seekers and the Devoted Marauders, probably one good Flock of Doom probably gets rid of them. But unfortunately, we can't see the Winds of Magic situation from either side. All we can see is that this unit of Silver Guard that had been quite healthy is obviously taking some very significant damage, but is managing to hold out somewhat. There's the Mistwalker's Barrage. Knocks over friendly troops, but doesn't deal any damage to them. And there's the Flock of Doom. Maybe? I saw the animation go off, but did the caster get rampaged right as she was casting it? Good interrupt from Kaiju there to actually prevent the spell from being casted at all. Instead, we're going to see Eltharion try and Tempest Azazel, and that should finish him off here. Let's keep his health bar up. Yeah, down below 200. Now down below the 100. That's definitely going to finish him. Yep, Azazel drops in a storm on the ground. And another Mistwalker Barrage lands. So basically, it's going to be Eltharion versus the world, right? All of his support units have been taken out. Mage Beast technically still here for now, but let's fast forward as Eltharion makes his final stand. Him and his mage here. Mistwalker's Barrage there. Doesn't hit anything. But let's see what he can do. A lot of Fiends, a lot of Seekers left to try and get through. There's a Flock of Doom for the units that had jumped in. I guess the Beast Mage just using whatever she has left. There's some Apotheosis as well, potential. So it's not like Eltharion has no ability to use any remaining Winds of Magic. Definitely can just heal himself with. But let's see. Another Mistwalker Barrage there. Finishes off that unit of Horsemen. And then Slaanesh kind of just jumps in with everything. Try and finish off the caster. Meanwhile, Eltharion, Fang Sword does give him magic damage in melee as well to bypass demonic physical resistance for a unit like Fiends, where it does matter, and they actually have enough HP model where he does need the extra bypass. Well, not necessarily need, but certainly nice to have. But, ooh, what are we going to see here? Gets knocked over before he can finish casting that spell. Oop, there's a Mistwalker Barrage. Very solid damage over time for sure. Ooh, looks like he was throwing off a Soul Quench there. A little magic missile does some damage to the Seekers. Now, once again, they move in on a surround on him. And this is the dangerous situation. You can see how, had the Seekers been able to get like some clean surrounds on him before, might have been able to finish him off. They get him down about half HP. Apotheosis kind of fighting with the DPS of the Slaanesh units at this point. But the Demon's leadership is just having a really hard time. Eltharian's staunchly defending here, and is quite confident in himself in terms of his leadership right now. Well, maybe not so confident, but more confident than the Slaanesh troops. These demons' binding is waning. You can see some of them schlorping out of existence there. Yes, yes, you see that, hear that demonette. They're making some plea for aid from the Dark Prince, but alas, falls on deaf ears, as Eltharian is, whoop, he's gone. He's gone forever. Just kidding, he's over there. But over there being successful, as he gets punted around a couple more times before the Slaanesh units return to the warp. And that'll be a victory for the High Elves. Very fun one for sure. Big thanks to Kaiju for sending in a loss. Always appreciate that. Scarbrand on the opposite side, friend of the channel. Definitely a great guy. And nice to see him prevail with the High Elves. I'm sure somewhere Ryder Rohan is smiling. Yeah, overall, very fun game. Very, very close at the end of the day. Definitely could have gone either way with a few kind of small differences in execution in various ways. But ultimately, yeah, Eltharian, just such a Chad. I love to see Eltharian performing so well, you know, given his history hasn't always been the greatest lord at times. Mistwalker Barrage was largely useless in the past, but here, on foot especially, getting really good value. 20,000 damage dealt, 3,400 gold value. Definitely carried the game in a big way. Silver and Guard also do a nice job. Phoenix Guard, I mean, it kind of makes sense just go for a full defensive kind of formation here. The Archers still don't do anything, and the Frostheart Phoenix, bless its heart, also didn't do anything, but that's okay. Fiends, obviously, going to be very cost-effective. The Seekers, yeah, all the mobile units for Slaanesh just absolutely feasted. And interesting to kind of see like a classical, almost a classical hammer and anvil, right? You got like a line of defensive spears, and then all your mobile units to kind of work around them. Very, very cool build from Slaanesh for sure. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.